Good day and welcome to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. Excited that you're joining us today as we equip, educate, empower, and elevate you to make a difference in your community. Remember that we're all better when we're better together. This day, we're going to take some opportunity to shine the light on a global story, on some national news, and even on how you can impact and grow in your character. Because the better you that you are, the better family member, co-worker, individual, right? Parent, auntie, uncle, the better person you are that will impact everything you touch. So come on, how about we begin with the ride? On global news today, let's talk about a story that touched my heart. I learned of a story where the indigenous children in the Amazon jungle who found were part of a airplane crash. There we go. Pardon me, technical difficulties. Who were part of an airplane crash, survived the wilderness alone without adults. I want to share what CNN shared as part of this global story. In the Colombian Amazon, one of the biggest, most torrential jungles at that, rain season, wildlife at rampant, four young people were able to survive for more than 40 days before being found. They say that the secret is because the big sister, the 13-year-old, found a way to store berries and nuts that were part of the jungle to help them with their nourishment. Of the children, they say the rescuers took everything to get to them. It took days just to reach them because of how deep in the jungle they were. Can you imagine being a child, having to figure it out on your own, and then being in a place where all odds are stacked against you? This story, elevated on the global news, touched me in a great way because we often forget about the amazingness of our children and that the parents had to put resilience in their children, that at the time when they were out the picture, they were unable to do anything. The kids had the courage to keep going. We certainly applaud our rescue workers and emergency preparedness teams who have the skills to go into those type of dire situations. But can you even imagine what you need to make it through those torrential storms and the landscape? And yet, this is a success story. We share this for a few different reasons today. First, we want you to consider, if you were in a compromising situation, what does your survival kit look like? Are you prepared to withstand the rain and the storm and the torrential weather or climate that you might be facing and terrain? Or are you in a place where you're fly by your night seat of your pants, going to wait and wing it and see what happens? We want to encourage you today to equip yourself, especially if you're responsible for our wonderful aging population, our seniors who took their time to take care of us when we were younger, and to consider the little people around you. What does your survival kit look like? Now, I understand that it's not in comparison to being dropped in the middle of the Colombian Amazon jungle. I do understand. And God bless these amazing little people that were so resilient and able to handle and come out of this amazing story. But what are you prepared for when you have to face those type of circumstances? So we just want to equip you today with a few things to consider, because you want to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. You don't want to live in a place where you find that you're not prepared to handle what life can toss at you. So let's just share some easy tips. Number one, those of us that commute. We travel in our cars, or maybe we carry backpacks on the subway. There are things that we can just carry to help keep us in those moments. Number one, consider every day making sure that you have a bottle of water. How simple is that? Carrying a small lunchbox size or a bottle of water with you in your bag in case of emergency could be a lifesaver. Consider how you can make sure that you carry batteries or that emergency granola bar. Mhm. You never know, because there are circumstances that happen to us we don't foresee. Recently, there was a highway shutdown because snow came in, and it was not predicted well enough in advance to help shut down the highway or even treat the highway for the anticipated weather. So the individuals who were stuck on this slippery surface were stuck in this place in their car for more than 24 hours, some for 2 days. If you were in that scenario, are you prepared? Do you have your emergency blanket in case you have to stay warm, in case that battery dies, in case you're stuck somewhere and have to wait till the light of day? Better to be prepared. Do you have a first aid kit in your car that can help just in case you have those nicks, just in case you have to treat sunburn, just in case, right? And then here's one that I learned when I was going through law enforcement chaplain training. One of the main pieces of equipment an average citizen can use that's very beneficial in time of emergency is something as simple as a whistle. You know why? It helps to locate you in those times of dire straits. So if there's a fire and for some reason you can't find your way out, maybe even if you're on the subway train or if you're on the railing or whatever you might be riding, there might be a time when you can blow that just so they can hear a noise, the emergency response team, and make their way to you. Do you know that that's really something simple you can tuck in a pocket and have available? The pandemic has taught us the need to have those gloves and the sanitizer, right? They come in the teeny weeny bottles too. You can spray it on your hands, dip, rub, whatever you need. It's about being prepared, family. Take the resilience from these babies. They didn't know what they were doing. They were just trying to make it. Thank goodness they were found. There are many stories that don't end with that much of a positive, right, outcome. What we hope for you is that you take from this message that I have to be prepared. Little things you can do that can make your odds so much better. Consider bandages, ointments, gauze, pads. Consider personal hygiene products, even garbage bags in your car. You never know how those little things, and family, most of that you can get from the dollar store. And you can get them in small enough sizes that they can all go in one backpack just to stay in the trunk. As a law enforcement chaplain, we're required to have an emergency bag that we take with us for the just in case. And it includes a flashlight. It includes spare batteries. It includes pen, paper. It includes gloves, latex gloves, in case there's bodily fluids around and we have to render aid. It also includes things that I might need for me. If you carry an inhaler, maybe that extra inhaler should be in that bag, because breathing is too important. Consider things that you might need that can help you through every day if you had to be in that location for a little while. So, family, what we hope again is that we can educate you, that you draw strength from this story, that maybe you hadn't thought about an emergency kit. Maybe you hadn't considered, let me make sure that the kids around me know where they can find the flashlights in case of an emergency, where they can locate the batteries in case the batteries go out of the flashlights, where they can find the blankets, the emergency bottles of water, those granola bars I just have just in case. Maybe they need to know as part of your fire safety check. Okay, everyone, fire drill. Everybody's going to the emergency location, the emergency spot, cross the street at the mailbox, whatever your plan is. Emergency preparedness is too important because it helps preserve you in state of emergency. We're honored to be able to say this success story has a happy ending. The babies are alive and well, sadly preparing funerals for their parents who did not survive the plane crash. But they get to live to tell their story, to be able to encourage others, which is what we hope you can do in moments of crisis. Remember, sometimes things in life are just out of your control. You can't control hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunamis, rainstorms, even a flat tire sometimes. You don't have control over if that nail is something you're just driving over, right? What you can do, however, is be equipped, be safe, and make sure that everyone around you understands where they can locate information, how they should communicate with emergency response, that 911 call, what type of information needs to be shared, what's important. Consider running over your emergency plan. I'd like to share one more tip with you. We found that through a lot of emergency training with little people, that they know folks by nicknames, the adults. So if you're down and they only call you Auntie T, they have no way of telling the paramedics your real name. There are some kids that only know you as grandma, have no idea what your name is. Take time when it's part of your emergency response kit, when it's part of your preparation and you're educating the family and you're bringing everybody on the same knowledge. Consider sharing vital information. This is where you can find my health insurance card if something goes wrong with me. This is where you can find the emergency numbers. In fact, on my refrigerator, I have the emergency contact numbers. So when my grandbabies are here, if something goes wrong, they know who to call. And if they get 911 and the operator says, is there an adult close by? They can say, well, I can call. I have their number. They live across the street or they don't live too far. You know why? Because knowledge is power. Let's empower the generations to be resilient should they have to face an emergency or a crisis situation. Think about it this way. 9/11 taught us that emergencies are something oftentimes that can shut a city down. They can shut down our lives. And we're just left wondering for at least 24, 48 hours what happened and what we're supposed to be doing. But in that 24 and 48 hours, are you equipped to be still as strong, as healthy, and as safe? Is your family in a place where you all come out of this emergency better? Because it's not about the circumstances. It's how you handle the circumstances that makes you the better person, where you're ahead and still ready to win. Family, we hope sharing this story about these amazing babies, sharing the story and information about how you can be prepared will help you and your family to continue to be as amazing as you are. So we're going to continue this conversation with more information to equip and elevate you. Stay tuned. There's more after this.
Hey everybody, this is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner on the Hey everybody, this is Regina.
Hey, it's Coach Piangel Jones from the Empowered Morning Show, and I'm reminding you to watch All Things Well 4 Thursdays right here on the WIN Network.
Hey everybody, this is Regina Hutt, the wellness practitioner on Empowered Mornings. We'd like to invite you every Wednesday night, 8 p.m., uniquely and gorgeous, to keep your mind locked and loaded on WIN Network.
Good day, family. Welcome back to the ride. We're so glad to have you with the Power Up family today. We're moving forward as we discuss some amazing, incredible, and needed information around how you can be the example of leadership where you are. Oftentimes, when we think about leaders, we think about rich CEOs. We might think about the pastors that we see, or those that run, I like our bosses, that run the shop, run the company, sign the big checks. I want to encourage you today to think about it a little differently. Consider how you are meant to be the leader where you are. Now, I might be speaking to someone who maybe you don't own a business. Maybe, in fact, you hate your 9 to 5. Don't like your job. Don't talk about my job, Tammy. I don't even want to think about it when I'm not there. Yeah, maybe you're the type of worker that is resistant to leadership or feels like nobody cares. They're not going to give me a chance to be a boss or a supervisor. They don't want me here. I want to encourage you to change your thinking and challenge the leader in you. We're just going to take a few minutes to speak hope and life to you, to those who feel like, I know there's something in there, but leadership is just too important. Consider that no matter what steps you take in life, wherever God puts you is meant for you to be the difference. Consider that first. And how necessary it is to be in a place because everybody else around you, believe it or not, is watching you. Now, sadly, some folks are watching you, waiting for you to fail. That's a true statement. But let the haters hate. There are too many more that are around you that are drawing from you. They're drawing that energy, that positive light. They're drawing what they need to do next. They might be coming to you for guidance, for decisions. So maybe you're not the one that signs the check and opens the company. Maybe you're not the one that's responsible for a full staff of 50 folks that does all the interviews and travels for the job. But you're a leader somewhere, including your home. So let's talk about an example of leadership really quickly. Let's talk about the fact that a lot of times it's not just knowledge based. Individuals think that the people who are always in leadership are the ones that know how to do it all. Can I tell you, I worked for a CEO once. She didn't even graduate high school, and she was running a $1 million company. The reason she did is she had the thought process that I don't need to know it all. I surround myself with people who know it all. I hire experts in different areas so that I'm covered no matter what I touch. So I don't humanly have to be the 100% expert on everything. That's not possible. You're human. But what I can do is make sure that I improve and grow in my character traits. Hear what I said a little while ago, the example of leadership? Let's talk about it. There are some important keys to a knowledge base. Yes. There are some roles where you have to know what you know. Let me give you an example. I don't know anything about computers. I know how to turn them on, do my work, cut them off. In fact, I have a friend that when something doesn't act right, I give them a call. And usually the first thing they say is, did you reboot the computer to see if it would update? Every single time. And that's the fix most of the time. So I'm not skilled in that area, right? IT is not my calling. However, I do know how to communicate with individuals. I do know how to make folks feel comfortable in conversation. I do know how to lead people with integrity, honesty, and trust. That's what makes those folks that have that skill want to be part of my team. So I want to challenge your thinking to first say, consider while you're growing in your area of expertise, YouTube University, an amazing thing. Google what you're trying to learn. There's free certificates out there. There's videos where experts are talking about it and you're listening to the lingo. You're learning the language so that when you sit for that interview, you know what you're talking about. Yeah. So while you're building in knowledge, how much are you building in those soft skills? The listening, understanding, the empathy, right? How important is it that you relate to individuals so that when they are part of your team and they follow you, they believe you, they buy into your vision and your mission and your focus? Consider this, that some of the best qualities of leadership start with understanding. Let me give you an example. Given the space to let that person know they're valued and heard. Now, that's even if you don't agree. Let me tell you, there's times when I sit with folks, they see things totally opposite than me. And do you know why? Because I'm the only Tami that thinks like I do, loves like I do, cares like I do, and embraces all the stuff that makes me me. I'm the only one. And I'm surrounded by a whole lot of Tammys, because Tammys are amazing sisters in this world. But I can still only be me. So to think that someone else is going to have the same values as I do, have the same mission as I do, think the same way I do is not appropriate. You got to give everybody their opportunity to be unique and amazing, right? You got to give them the opportunity to be all they were designed to be. Remember, I shared my friend who's an IT specialist. If he wasn't, I'd be short when it came to computers. I need him being awesome in IT. Because when I call him, I need him to be right. But what I can do in my lane is be the best me. So when, as a leader, you create an understanding and you listen in a much deeper, active way, which means there was an acronym I heard years ago, WAIT. I actually have it up on my wall. The acronym stands for, why am I talking? One of the best things we can do as leaders when we give space to folks is allow them to have the space. We oftentimes are so deadline driven and so focused. I got to get home. I got to run the baby's bath. I got to cook dinner. They got homework. I got to do hair tonight. Okay, then I got to hurry up and get that done because I've got my own school projects I have to do. I'm taking these online courses, or I've got a program, a project or something due for work in the morning. So I'm working late tonight, or I have a part-time job. Once the kids go to sleep, now I'm online doing we have a routine that keeps us hustling and bustling. In it all, how strong is your character that when people see you, they say, I like him. I want to work with him. I want to be part of his team. Anything he's connected to, I got to be connected to. The example of leadership. Now, if you're understanding, given that space, if you're listening, allowing the space without judgment, confidential, and being empathetic, I totally understand that this is hard for you. I can't even wrap my mind around what it must feel like, but your feelings are valid. Can I tell you how those words can make a difference in somebody's whole mental state? Your feelings are valid. Every leader should write those words down and consider saying them in a way at a time, because when that individual hears it, first of all, you just validated them without judgment. Don't start it with, I disagree, but your feelings are valid, or your feelings are valid, but I think you're crazy. That totally negates the whole conversation. And again, if you're in a space of empathy, you're putting yourself in the other person's shoes. In other words, but by the grace of God, there go I, is what my grandma said. Could have been me. If the bereavement period, it's so hard for this individual. I've had to bury someone once. and I'm still living. I'll have to bury others. Nobody lives forever. So one thing I can do is be empathetic to the fact that they're still in a place of mourning. Everybody's had times when money's been tight. If you've got an employee that's trying to make it living check to check and they're struggling with things, of course they're going to be preoccupied with that. Not your job to fix their problem. Your job to allow the space and validation. Your feelings are valid. I'm here any way I can to listen. You tell me what you need. And then reassure them. I'm glad you're part of this team. So what I did is I just presented you all with a leadership cheat book. These are some of the cheat tips that I share when I do leadership communication courses. Because what we say is what people live by. Consider this. All the mandates that we get at work, all the mandates. We've got deadlines and we've got other stuff going on. And then you got stuff at home you bringing to work that's going on. And so do the 20 people that's around you, whether you're leading them or not. Everybody has lives. Everybody has stuff going on, right? Consider this. You still have a mission you have to meet. There's a product that has to be produced so that everybody gets paid. There's an outcome of some kind. If you're in a call center, you've got to meet this goal for these many calls. If you're producing a product, then you've got to get the inventory control. You've got to get everything, the quality control done. You've got to get all you need patents out so that that can be duplicated. And then you've got to go through the processes, right? If it's meetings that you're just preparing for, I just got to get this agenda done so that I can go into this meeting, make sense what we're talking about. Everything has deadlines to it. There's steps, there are requirements you have to go through. Here's the thing. How you handle that is honestly what people see. So, in other words, if all hell is breaking loose and everybody else is tripping, in my slang, everyone else is confused or having issues and anxiety is risen. I mean, everybody else is all about them. Are you the level head? Are you the one that brings the calm? Can you refocus everyone? Do they feel strength when you speak? Resilience? Do they feel like, okay, all right, you're right. I was thinking the wrong thing. Let me reassess this, get things together, and we can do, yes, we can do this. You're right. Because the power that you have in leadership impacts your household, the babies under you, the neighborhood, the kids around you. That's one of the reasons why listening to seniors speak is so gratifying. Because we get to learn through their speed bumps. We learn the hills they had to climb. We learn the paths that they took so we don't have to repeat them. So when you're going through these moments, consider the example you're leading. And let me help those who might be middle management or frontline management. Let's say you're the shift manager at McDonald's. First of all, McDonald's is one of the top selling restaurants on the planet. So that's not a small job. But the fact that you are leading at any level is what I need the message to be today. We've got to stop comparing ourselves to others and think leaders only have $1 million checks. Can I tell you, as much as millionaires have a lot of money, they have a lot of problems. I coach millionaires, global, that are on many different scales. The reason that I coach is because they need that process. They need to pause life for a minute to release or to figure out next steps, just like you do. We're all human. Consider no matter what level, if you're leading a book club. And here's the thing, let's say you have a lot of ideas in you and you just haven't started. Come on, lead by example. If you're a coach, if you're a teacher, let's say you're a sub, or you just lead a knitting class. Let's say you lead Bible study at church. Whatever you do on whatever scale, if there are two of you, somebody's being influenced by you. And let me say this, if it's just you, What you say in here is the most important conversation you'll ever have. Self-talk is too important. So elevate yourself. Pattern your life by the example you want to be. Learn the traits of integrity. Learn the characteristics of perseverance. Learn how they get back up every time they get knocked down, because knocking down is going to happen. Falling down is going to happen. And sadly, sometimes people will push you down, and you still got to find a way to get back up. Get refocused and move forward with the greatness that put you in that role. Family, as you get educated and equipped today, we also want to empower you that you have everything inside of you that you need to be great. You have all of the skills and the abilities in you. What you need is to increase your skills and strengthen your abilities. Means build your capacity. There are ways to increase your soft skills. Positive speech, number one. What you say brings life. It can also cause a whole lot of death. How many times has someone responded and you just were able to breathe again and go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Let's roll with that. How many times has someone responded and it made you pop off, where you either had to offer an apology or sadly bail money because you reacted instead of responding? Positive speech is so important because it's what individuals hear, especially in those crucial times. How many of your team feel like they're more than just a calculator because they crunch numbers? Or they're more than just a receptionist because they answer phones? How many of them feel like they're valued part of your team? Do they get that smile when you come in? Do they get that nice dress? You look amazing today. Do they get that I love your voice when you answer the phones? Thank you for handling that package for me. I appreciate that. Do they get your air of gratitude? Do they get your positivity so that they leave better? How about they leave wanting to come to work for you? I actually know individuals who love their boss so much that when their boss left, they left to go with their boss. Because the person they bought into, they trusted them. They believed that if that person said, come on, we're going this way, without a doubt, they followed them. That there was such a strong trust factor in their body language, in their actual language, that it made them believe in the confidence they exemplify. The confidence that you show every day in your home. When you wake the babies up for school and say, oh, it's going to be a great day. Come on, let's go. No idea what the day has in store, but it's the seed you put into them. Do your best. Expand your cranium today while you're at school. Whatever you leave, whatever you speak to them is what they hold on to. So that when you become a grand and they're the parent, they're doing the same into their children. Same with the folks around us in our circle, on our jobs, in the church, you walk past, in the grocery store. I learned a long time ago the power of saying good morning and not expecting a response. For a long time, it used to really upset me. I took it personal. Didn't I tell you good morning? You can't punch your lips and say good morning back. Oh, let me tell you, I was in my feelings quite a few times. And then one day, a beautiful senior said, what are you expecting from people? Why are you giving something with an expectation? Why aren't you giving it freely just because it's you? I'm the light of the world. I believe that my job and my purpose here is to try to help somebody else. I don't believe that my purpose is every time I connect with somebody to drain from them. I do, however, believe that I am a pourer. I am somebody, I'm a plower, I'm a planter. I am somebody that can help, or I hope to be available to help. If I can't, I want to be available. But it all starts with what I believe, what I say, my mental state, how my body language is around other people, how I show that I got this together. Family, as you move into the example of leadership, again, not just at work, we put too much stake in our 9 to 5, right? And then when the 9 to 5 shuts down, we can't function. Can I purpose you to think a little differently? There's a saying that I say with my husband all the time. My husband and I, we have this thing where we say, we work hard, so we've got to play harder. Wasn't until I was mature and older when I understood what that meant, because folks around me who were balling, I thought, or who were traveling all the time or living well would always say, nope, going on a trip. Nope, I'm clocking out at 5. Nope, I want to put more time into my life. I'll see that job tomorrow. And I used to think there was a level of arrogance and honest disrespect. As I've matured, I've learned balance is important. I will gladly give my job what's needed because that's how I eat right now, while I'm building and enjoying life, while I'm planning my next trip, while I'm calling friends to see what we're doing the weekend, while I'm buying that good book I've always wanted to read and decided this weekend is just going to be me and this book, while I'm deciding what I'm going to do that makes me happy. You have the right to be happy, just like you see everyone else doing. The difference is remembering a few things. First, you've got to do it. You got to do the work. Your happiness relies on you. And when it comes to the work, just remember, folks are always watching you, whether it's the ones above you, beside you, or below you. Folks are always going to watch you in the community and what you do at home. Folks are going to copy what you're doing if it's good stuff, right? But if they're already watching you because they're talking about you, how about let them watch you win? Yes, sir. I've got that on my bathroom mirror on a big sticky. Watch me win. You're going to watch me anyway and hate. You're going to watch me anyway and draw your own conclusions about information that you are missing. You don't even know what you're talking about. But I have a choice. I can get up in arms and defensive and get an attitude, and now my pressure's up and I'm stressed. And how about you're welcome to think what you like? I'm going to enjoy being me and let you keep talking. Once you start walking in the happiness of you and understand that the characteristics that you show are important, you start enjoying this thing called life. Even in the dark times, you start enjoying the opportunities in front of you, even when it's hard. I'll share as a career coach, one thing that I shared with an executive yesterday when I was coaching them was they got a pink slip and they were not given 2 weeks notice. They were given, pack up, today is your last day. You can spend today packing up and go home whenever you want to. We'll give you 2 weeks severance. That's what they got after being more than 20 years on the job in that exact same desk doing that work. Now that's out of their control. They didn't see it coming, had no idea, didn't know what was going on. But in the moment of control, you have opportunity. Sometimes God will fire you because you won't move on your own. Sometimes God is going to try to tell you, why are you still doing this? You love cooking. How about go be a chef? Why are you over here being a janitor? Or vice versa. Maybe you're in the kitchen burning stuff, hate the job. You'd rather be working with kids in environmental services. Whatever it is that you long to do it because you enjoy it. And make sure that you remember that the soft skills, how you do things, is just as important as the knowledge of what you do. I'm going to say that again. the body language, the building trust, the positive speech, right? The making sure that you have empathy, how you make sure people feel validated, making that space of acknowledgement, respect, all of that is so much more important in a leader than I'm certified to do this one thing. Don't get caught up with thinking you got to have 1,000 certifications or 1,000 degrees. It's quite possible that there's a job waiting for you to apply for it. But because you were ho hum holding on to that 9 to 5, you never entertained it. Guess what? Now God has opened an opportunity for you to give 1,000% of your energy into what's actually meant to make you happy. Family, we want to make sure that to remind you that you are worth it. You are worth all the opportunities. You are worth all the greatness that's in front of you. The best is still yet to come, and you are worth the best. And if they're going to watch you when you're down, let them watch you get back up. I heard someone say years ago, I'm going to not just let them watch me win, but I'm going to make a front seat so they can come on in the audience and have the perfect view. It's all about you being the best you. So we hope that this opportunity to remind you of leadership by example helped you today. Help to push you into that, a reminder that what I say is important. My positive demeanor is important. How I give space to folks is important. How I validate individuals is important because I want them to feel connected. I want them to feel appreciated. And most importantly, I want them to know that we can be in this together and serve the same mission. The best leaders are not dictators. They're not that big eye person looking down on the crowd. Because we are in the cancel culture. Well, folks will leave in a second with you standing right up there thinking you somebody. What you want to do is maximize the moment and consider that whatever level you are, whether it's the front line, middle management, just leading a little club, whether it's thinking about new ideas on how I can propose this to different boards, or maybe I'm an advisor, or whatever you do, you are a born leader. So come on, family. We're going to elevate our leadership skills so that people trust, buy into what you're saying, and you get to enjoy the leadership journey. They're going to look at what you're doing, mimic what you're doing, but also grow from what you're doing, right? Let do earth to be better. Let it all help us to grow better. Let it all help us to be better. Family, we hope this information was helpful just to remind you of the leader you are, as amazing as you are built to be. Please stay tuned. We're going to go into some more during our health front. There's more after this.
Hi, guys. It's Tina Wynn, your host of the podcast, You See Me. I want you guys to stay encouraged, continue to come out and see me, and most importantly, see yourselves. Remember, the only way that you can truly enjoy life is to see other people so that you can enjoy the beauty of seeing yourself. Come join me Saturdays at 4 on the We Empowered Network. Thank you.
Life has its way of being sweet, and life has its way of being spicy.
You did not have to hit me there.
Girl, I did not hit you that hard.
Anywho, life has its way of being hard, and life has its way of being easy. Join us every second Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time,
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
at the We Empower Network. Tune in to the Sweet
And spicy.
Podcast. Hope to see you there.
Bye.
Welcome back, family, to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tammy. So glad you're joining me today. As we move forward into our wrap up of this show, we want to remind you of a few things. There are many opportunities that allow us to make a difference where we are. There are many that afford us instances and avenues and examples where we're the ones that have the power to influence change. I was reading through a lot of the global news, especially here in the United States over the last few weeks, and my heart ached, something fierce, because of the number of increased murder suicides that have been taking place. In other words, there are many family members that because one family member has a breakdown or a crisis, that they decide to then terminate their family members and turn it on themselves. If you Google, you'll find that there have just been such an increase over the last few weeks in the United States alone. Suicide rate has elevated so high since the pandemic that folks who have lost jobs or lost family members find themselves in a place of hopelessness. And we want to wrap up our show today by reminding you of how important you are. We want to pause all the news and all the information sharing to take a moment to let you know that we would rather hear your story than read about it in your obituary. We understand that sometimes life can give you circumstances that knock the very wind out of you. Yeah, we understand that sometimes it doesn't feel good, and there's absolutely nothing we can do when we're in many situations. We have deaths that are in such a high that the pandemic, COVID, has taken a lot of our families. Cancer is still prevalent. There are many different diseases. And the thing is, again, no one's meant to live forever. But it doesn't make the easiness of separation, right? When you're in a connection with someone you love, you adore, you run with every day, they're your friend, they're your confidant, they're your coworker, whatever influence they are to you, and that connection gets torn apart. There's a wound that now has been opened up, just as if you were cut by a knife or you fell on the ground and the concrete tore your knee. There's a wound that is a place that has the implications of hurt. It has the implications of being so hard. And many people don't know how to process the pain or how to process their emotions. And behavioral health is very intentional about sharing crisis techniques. I want to take a minute to help my family today who might be surrounded by individuals that are in need, and you're just not sure of the signs and what to look for. You're not sure of how you can help individuals. What you'll notice are different type of resources we're going to be sharing through this wrap up that's meant to help you to tap in to how you can learn information in the real time. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline has individuals readily available, waiting to hear from you. Certified and just at the phone. will help you at least have a space of release. For those folks that feel like I can't talk to the folks around me, they don't understand. There's a neutral, open opportunity. And they now have opportunities for you to text and converse with counselors as well. But let's say you're in the presence of someone where you've noticed behavioral changes. I want to share a few techniques and tips we learned as a trained mediator in law enforcement. First, I need everyone to understand something. Before you try to approach anyone that might be in a crisis, I need you to think about this one thing. Wherever they are mentally is real to them. So if they feel in a state of hope where they're ready to get rid of it all, it's not something you can just pull an individual out of. They are in a very real present state in their mind. Have you ever had a nightmare while you were asleep? And it took a while for you to get out of that thing, right? It was so real. You smelled it, you breathed it, you were soaking wet when you woke up. And then when you woke up, you still remembered it. It was that vivid. When someone's in a place of trauma, it is very real to them. That's why one of the things you should never say to someone is get over it. Because you, while maybe having a state of empathy, don't have the right to rush anyone through a healing process. What you want to do is look for those signs that will help you know the difference between what you can do and calling the individuals that are prepared and trained to respond. Let me share just a few physical, behavioral, and psychological indicators, okay? If you notice rapid mood swings, if you notice individuals are talking about suicide, if you notice increased agitation, maybe someone's hygiene has changed. If you notice that the individual is having angry outbursts, maybe they're paranoid and speaking to individuals or other voices that are not there. If you've noticed abusive behavior, or quite the opposite, someone is now withdrawn and isolating themselves. If you notice someone who is in a very real threatening behavior action, if they're doing things where you see that they are harm to themselves or others, they might cause self-injury. If you've noticed someone might be severely impaired or inebriated due to drugs or alcohol. Even highly erratic behavior, where you notice somebody pacing back and forth. The reason that we're sharing these techniques is because there's something that you have to know. That first of all, your job in that moment is to remain calm. Your job in that moment is not to put on a medical provider hat. It's not to decide you're going to move into substance abuse counseling or try to yell at somebody and get them to understand. That's not your job in that moment. Remember, it's real to them. What your job is to be the voice of calm. Remember that the same way we just spoke about how you would be the example in leadership is how you can be the example in a moment of crisis. Remember that that person needs respect for their personal space. Don't just walk up on somebody that's pacing. Don't just decide you're going to go grab somebody and hug them. Might be everything in you that, oh, you just need a hug. Understand that's what you feel like they need. Where they are is totally different. This segment is meant to help prepare you with some real tips on how you can help our brothers and sisters who are going through. Because at some point, trouble comes on our street, knocks on our door, and we have to deal with heartache. Okay, so it's not just the situation, right? How you handle it. Here's a few more tips for you. Make sure that your hands stay present. Don't put them in your pockets, behind your back. Sometimes what people see, if there's fear, they might assume something else. Just keep them present. I'm going to use this as an example. Hey, Carl. Notice the tone of my voice. You look irritated. Are you okay? How can I help? Get away from me. You don't know what you're talking about. Whatever they might be saying. Carl, it's Tammy. Hey, Carl, it's Tammy. Can I help with anything? What do you need? You want some water? Can I call somebody? Now you'll notice that immediately in that moment, what I'm trying to do is get Carl to see who I am, that it's me. If he doesn't ever recognize me, I want him to see my voice and my hands and hear what I'm saying. How can I help you? What do you need? One of the things that individuals in trauma will do is tell you what's going on. I'm hot. I'm hot. I need you to step back. I need you to clear the room. I feel like the walls are closing in on me. They will give you information. Repeat that back. Carl, you feel like the room, okay, the walls are closing in on you. What do you need? You're hot. Would you like some water? What do you need? Would you like to be cooled up? What do you need? Give them that back. But one thing you will never do, you don't want to do is lie to them. Don't make them promises. I'm going to go get you this and I'm going to do that. And it's not about you in that moment. It's about being a help to them, our family, whether you know them or not. They are our blood, their skin. We are all one human race. And they're in a moment of crisis. Keep your distance. Keep your hands present. Be reassuring and calm. When you get the earliest opportunities, make sure that the emergency response professionals who are more trained than you are on the way and en route. Because you don't know the severity of the issue. They might need medical attention that's on an ambulance that should be on the way. They might need transportation to a place where there's more that can help them. They might need something that you just are not prepared in that moment to be. So family, we wanted to wrap up today to remind our family, to remind the Power Up team, the crew, all that you are to us. First, that you matter. You matter to us. Your voice matters to the world. We need your gifts and your talents. Listen, just because somebody else can play the guitar doesn't mean we don't need the music that's inside of you. In fact, we need it now more than ever. Hate is on the rise. Family abuse is on the rise. Disagreements are on the rise. We need all that you have that can make this world a better place right now. We want you to know there is help available. Feel free to go to any of the resources that we shared, the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, the National Institute for Mental Health, SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Association. There are many entities. You can Google help, and they will pop up more than we could share in these next few minutes. But we want you to know that you're valued. The most important message. Leave here understanding your worth. And to those family members who just needed a little more edification, a little more education on what to do if I do find myself in a compromising situation, we hope that this was helpful, because it's best to be prepared for the just in case. I'm CPR certified. I hope to never have to use it. But if necessary, I sure rather be on somebody's chest trying to keep them alive and know how to do it. I want to be that individual that at least is prepared for the need. This show is totally meant to equip you, educate you, empower you, and then elevate you, because you are amazing. Family, thank you for joining the Power Up segment today. We hope that sharing the story of those amazing babies who made it out of the Amazon jungle and were so resilient helped you, as well as all the tips. We'll see you next time.